Welcome on the live. About to paint a miniature. This guy. So I have an overall idea on how I'm gonna paint him, what color scheme I'm gonna use, and we'll see as it goes. So just shaking my balls. Welcome to the live. Sorry about the noise, I'm just shaking the balls. I'm using my drill to do this. Need a little bit of fluid. So I'm starting with a very light green. Then I'm gonna come over with some darker washes. This guy isn't gonna be all green, of course, but I want to start with a light green nonetheless, just to blend properly the different colors together. There are gonna be some browner colors. I'm gonna try to do a greenish skin tone with some reddish, brownish, orange parts, you know. Hopefully with a good blend. I want to create some variations, but I'm definitely doing a very vivid green. I won't say it's going to be the lighter green there is, but because it's going to be toned down by the washes afterwards, but I need a very light base. Then I'm gonna do a wash. Salut Patrick. Patine de mur. Patine de mur. Je sais pas exactement à quoi tu fais référence. Tu veux dire le lavis lavis sur le mur. En général, pour faire les lavis sur le mur, je prends une couleur marron assez foncé. J'ai oublié une ligne de moule ici. Et évidemment, ça se voit maintenant qu'on met la peinture. Bon, c'est pas très grave. C'est un peu moche. Ce que tu peux faire quand tu fais un lavis pour que ça marche bien, c'est mélanger avec une petite goutte de liquide vaisselle. Ça rend la peinture, le pigment de la peinture plus fluide et ça va mieux se caler dans les creux. Ouais. Bah si c'est le lavis qui pose problème, ce que tu appelles la patine, j'imagine c'est le lavis. Souvent je prends du marron très foncé, comment ça s'appelle? Euh, euh, Amber, Amber Brown, enfin c'est du marron vraiment foncé, que je mélange avec pas mal d'eau. Je mets un petit peu de noir aussi en général pour foncer, mais pas trop. Et ensuite rajoute peut-être, avec pas mal d'eau hein, bien sûr, rajoute une ou deux petites gouttes dans le mélange de liquide vaisselle, ça peut aider à aller dans les creux. Si tu veux que ça donne vraiment bien, ce que tu peux faire, je sais pas quelle peinture acrylique tu utilises, mais ce que tu peux faire aussi, c'est d'abord vernir ta pièce avec du Mod Podge ou du vernis ou ce que tu veux, et ensuite mettre le lavis. Le lavis va glisser beaucoup plus sur la surface vernie en fait, et il ira juste se mettre dans les creux, tu vois. Mais moi, attends, moi, il me semble que je le fais avant. Alors sur les murs que j'ai fait, dont tu as vu voir les vidéos, je le faisais avant de peindre avec l'acrylique. Avant de peindre avec l'acrylique. Et moi, ça marchait, sans qu'il y ait de peinture avant. Et ensuite, je passais en brossage à sec, si je me rappelle bien, avec l'acrylique pour les tons moyens et les highlights. Mais tu peux faire l'inverse aussi, hein. Ouais, j'utilise la peinture Amsterdam parce que c'est celle que j'ai trouvée. C'est vrai que sur certains types de plastique, elle colle un peu. Au bout d'un moment, elle colle plus, mais elle colle un peu pendant un moment. Moi, j'ai pas trop eu ce problème. J'ai eu ce problème sur un type de mousse que j'ai pas utilisé longtemps. Mais j'ai des crafters qui m'ont dit qu'ils avaient eu un souci parce que c'était une peinture qui collait un peu. Franchement, c'est pas très important la peinture que tu prends, hein. Tu peux prendre de la peinture acrylique, peu importe la marque que tu trouves, limite, elle a pas besoin d'être chère, hein, si c'est pour du tabletop, du décor, t'as pas vraiment besoin. Enfin, on s'en fout un peu de la marque en fait. Enfin, c'est comme tu le sens, hein, mais moi j'ai pas fait attention, hein. J'ai pris ce que j'avais sous les mains, qui était en bon conditionnement et qui avait les teintes qui m'intéressaient, mais je suis pas sûr que ce soit très important à partir du moment où c'est de la peinture acrylique. Sauf que voilà, enfin certains m'ont dit que sur certains types de plastique, certains types de polystyrène, extrudé, ça tenait pas très bien. Enfin, ça tenait, mais c'était collant. Évidemment, on a plus de problème lorsqu'on vernit, de toute façon. On n'a plus le côté collant, mais certains m'ont dit qu'il y avait un peu ce souci. Donc, après, à toi de voir. Sinon, t'en as d'autres, hein, des marques. Tu peux même prendre du premier prix. Je les ai achetés dans un magasin de fourniture d'art. Il y a même moyen d'en trouver moins cher ailleurs, je pense. Je sais pas. Oui, donc pour le lavis, si tu le fais avant, ça dépend vraiment de la mousse que tu utilises en fait, je pense. Moi, la mienne, ça fonctionne très bien, mais peut-être que sur d'autres, ça marche moins bien. Voilà, voilà. Bon, alors, je m'assure que j'ai pas oublié l'endroit où je voulais mettre un peu de verre. Je vais déjà attendre une petite minute que ça se fige. Ensuite, je vais faire un espèce de lavis. Welcome on the live. Currently painting this sort of ogre troll, marsh troll. Not an ogre, but a marsh troll. I'm not going to being overly precise right now because it's obviously just the first steps of the paint. So I'm doing a very light base color. Then I'm going to do a darker wash of a darker green. And then I'm going to go back with several different colors and do some layering, very diluted with some thinner, some airbrush thinner for the paints, for miniature paints, to be able to get some nice, hopefully to get some nice looking blends. For now, I'm getting this green tone almost everywhere, at least on the soft parts of his skin. I don't know why, but I got some tiny bits of paint sticking out. I'm unsure why. So I'm not gonna put this green where he's got heavier, like he's got some bony protrusions here and there. I'm not gonna put it there because the color scheme is gonna be completely different on these parts. Well, completely different. At least it's not gonna be greenish, so I don't really need a green base. Needless to say, I like painting and miniatures, and I can do a decent job if I take time. I've watched some videos, and I know how colors work, but I'm not the miniature painter at all. So I can give you a few advices, but probably I spend probably way too much time to get a nice results, and there are probably some better techniques are out there. If you want to find some proper painters, I'm just painting my miniature live in case you guys are interested, but I'm not a miniature teacher. I'm not gonna be able to teach you how to paint very well. I'm just having fun. This one will probably look good when finished, but c'est pour le plateau de jeu HeroQuest. Ah oui, c'est cool HeroQuest. Ouais, tu m'en avais pas déjà parlé, il me semble. C'est peut-être un autre abonné, mais ouais. Et du coup, ça a pas fonctionné? Ou t'as juste eu un résultat différent? Parce que bon, il n'y a pas qu'une façon de faire, hein. Ils sont bien mes murs, mais il y a plein d'autres color schemes qui sont tout aussi bien, hein. Ça peut être différent et très bien, hein. Ok. Okay. So next I'm gonna use a darker green, very diluted, not very diluted back there, but then pretty much diluted to get a nice blend towards the green here. Then afterwards I'm gonna go back with some flesh tones and some kind of red here on the belly, because I want a nice blend, and I don't want him to be fully green. I wanna, the tint of his skin to go from dark green to light green to light brown and even reddish, to have a good transition, something a bit of a variation. Ouais, c'est bien, c'est cool. Bah, hésite pas à m'envoyer des photos, tu peux m'envoyer des images, je suis curieux de le voir si tu as utilisé. Pour faire les murs, tu as utilisé aussi du coup la technique que j'ai montré pour les fabriquer. Si c'est le cas, enfin, si tu as pris des photos, envoie-les-moi à Landvaettr, hein. Landvaettr, Forest Landvaettr, landvaettr@gmail.com. Je serais intéressé de les voir. Si je remets depuis longtemps de faire une vidéo où je montre ce qu'ont crafté les abonnés à partir des tutos. Je pense que je vais la faire quand on sera à 10 000 abonnés, ce qui est pas dans très très longtemps, probablement dans quelques mois, mais il suffit qu'il y ait une vidéo qui marche particulièrement bien et ça fait venir pas mal d'abonnés, donc j'ai commencé un petit peu à regarder déjà ce qui avait été fait par les abonnés en utilisant certaines des techniques. Et bah, ce serait cool de montrer tes murs. Hi Paul these aren't really new brushes. This one's new. I already had it. But I need to buy smaller new brushes. Now this guy is pretty huge, and I'm not doing the details for now, so I can use the big one. It's perfect, and yeah, it's this one's new, so it works a little better. But I definitely have to buy smaller ones that are new, because the smaller I have are, yeah, they're a bit wrecked. So having them bent can be quite useful when you try to do details or access some nooks and crannies, some recesses. But once the brush is too damaged, it begins to crumble, to tear up, and you got some threads that are sticking out, and it can get messy when you paint. So I definitely have to buy small ones again, new ones. Just didn't find the time to do it. Okay, so it's mostly set, at least on the belly. That's what I'm going for. So it's almost set. I'm just gonna wait 1 minute or two, and then I'll do I'll put on some dark green there and do a sort of transition. So what kind of green am I gonna use? I got this green there. Could do the trick, right? It could do the trick. Maybe I should wait just. I'm gonna wait just a tad. Just gonna wait a few, like 1 minute or so. I should go with a more deep green, something a bit more. I'm gonna mix it with this. I'm gonna mix two greens to obtain something a bit more vivid. Don't want this guy to be too toned down. Hey, 3 this. Yeah, definitely has weak legs, since it's Reaper, the bones, so it's plastic, and yeah, it's got weak legs. But it's alright, it was pretty cheap. Besides, sometimes it's good to have supple miniature when it's this size, because sometimes when the plastic is hard like resin, sometimes it breaks if there is too small articulations like on the feet, because there's quite a volume up there with tiny ankles. So if it was Mal, for example, I guess if it was Mal, even if it was plain Mal, the legs would be kind of strong, but you know, it's kind of heavy on the belly. So with a lighter plastic, it's maybe even better if it's a bit, you know, supple, flexible. Because if it ain't, it better be solid, because if it's too hard and brittle, it'll just break, and you know, you don't want to see that happening. So yeah. So so I'm gonna mix in these two greens. I don't know if you guys can see the wet palette, but and I'm using some flow aid also. Okay. So let's see. The idea is to get a nice transition here. See? I'm doing a very dirty job right there, but it's alright. There is very little paint actually, so that'll be easy to fix. I forgot a mole line there. It's pretty ugly. It's alright. I'm looking for some, you know, something tabletop ready, and I'll spend obviously a little time on the details by the end to get something, you know, nice. Often when you're doing details, you can cover up for some mistakes, and obviously, you know, if you don't put too much paint on, if you spend time, you'll just spend more time. But there's always a way to fix. See here the how do you call that? The radish. The color gradient doesn't work well yet. I could have been, you know, a bit more cautious while doing it, but it'll work in the end. Sure about that. I'm using a lot of water and a lot of flow aid, so it should be fine. They didn't have the formula for their plastic down, no problem with the Kickstarter 4 stuff. I didn't follow all the Kickstarters, to be honest. I just bought that on the regular catalog online. I tend to buy the plastic, the bones one for the huge figures, unless there's, you know, unless I really have a crush on one miniature in particular. I've already bought some of them that are metallic, huge ones, metallic, that come pretty expensive for a few models that I really like, but most of the time for the big guys I go for the bones. And I buy a lot of metallics for the smaller ones. Because I just like my miniatures to have a nice weight. That's why most of my bases are made from washers. This one's got a huge washer. Back down. Mjolnir type base for painting. Mjolnir type base for painting. You're talking about the anvil, the small anvil there. Yeah. It's really nice for the big miniatures. It's pretty heavy, and I've got some magnets there. Maybe you can see it. And since the base is made of a washer, it sticks right on the anvil. It's pretty heavy, but since this guy is pretty big, I like to have something heavy I feel I better feel I know what I'm doing if I have something that's a bit weighted in the hand. Okay, so I'm doing a very sloppy job for the moment, so if some of you guys are used to miniature painting, you guys must be like pretty baffled by the roughness of the paint right there, but I'm just doing an overall work. And now I'm gonna start picking up the shadows in there. But yeah, it's a pretty rough job for now. Use washers too. Washers, yeah. Yeah, miniature magnetic figure holder, yeah. For the small ones, for the small miniatures, I used cork, bottle corks with a small flat magnet, like that. It's sheets of magnet like tape, of magnet tape, and I just got the strap to get some small squares, and it works really well for the smaller miniatures. See, works well. You can paint it. It doesn't fall off. It's easy to remove, but it doesn't fall off. And there you go. And for the big ones, I use the anvil. Way more reliable. So, how about stopping doing such a sloppy job? Huh? I think I used too much flow improver, but it's alright. I mean, with all this texture and all the recesses, of course I'm gonna do something pretty at the end. Just, usually these kind of steps, you want to do them right, because if you do them right, you'll have less time to spend on details later on to correct the mistakes you did. Obviously, I'll have to spend some time fixing what I'm doing right now. But it's alright. There. Two of the green undercoats using a dark wash. You know, you keep some highlights. I'll go over it afterwards, of course, but I already have some nice highlights sticking out. But they are green, not white, of course. Works well. Of course, most of these zones are gonna become reddish, more reddish afterwards. I'm really gonna, you know, work with glazes and such later on, but for now, it'll do. I'm doing the rough job right now. A magnet, so you glued a washer to the bottom of your holder and a magnet bar to the underside of the table. Oh, that's clever. So you can put them all upside down for the washers. Yeah. Usually I like my washers to go into recess and most of my shadows to be downwards, so I don't really know. Yeah, of course you don't want your wash to go on the base, but usually I tend to use gravity. But I rarely use wash as a last step, otherwise I just remove the excess when there is too much wash. So I don't, my miniatures are, you know, rarely soaking in wash. Okay, so I don't really care about the back right there. It's mostly going to be another color anyway. I'm just doing a sort of green overall light coats just to have a shade of green underneath the color that is going to go on top. But I don't mind too much doing a very precise job, because this guy's got to be several colors. It's not just going to be green. There you go. Works well on the texture though. When you use flow improver for the, or you can use water with I'm actually mixing both water with a flow aid and a tiny drip of soap, and it already, you know, it pops out pretty well. Works pretty well on those the scaly parts up there. It works already pretty well. Maybe I should go with green everywhere. I was trying to concentrate on the belly here to see if I can get this cool effect. But maybe I should concentrate on the whole figure first, since I'm doing just a general job on the colors. I'm unsure as if the primer went well on all the surfaces, since I've got some spots that are more like react a bit less with paint, like sticks a little less. That kind of bums me out. Okay. Oh, I forgot all of this part altogether. Boom! Instant texture. Look at that. Instant texture. Ooh, I'm a bit heavy. I'm going in a bit heavy. It's kind of hard to be precise with both this kind of curved down miniature plus all the setup here with the camera and the lights and the magnifying glass. Of course, I'm only doing a very rough job for now, so it doesn't really matter per se. I'm just getting in some texture. I'm gonna go with a dark wash afterwards, I think. Darker, I mean. Okay. What's nice about monsters is that, you know, if you want to do something intended for a display or a contest, obviously, you know, you have to spend a lot of time to do something really nice. But when you're doing a monster and you want the miniature to look mostly tabletop ready, well, you can't really be wrong, right? Especially for something like a marsh troll like this guy. I mean, obviously this guy lives in marshes, in, you know, damp and muddy environments, watery, muddy environments, so you can't really get anything wrong by doing some stains or something like that. So I'm not overly stressed out by the fact that I'm not overly clean in my paint job. Besides, I know that the important stuff, I'm gonna fix it later. So yeah, monsters are nice for this reason, I find out. They are way more forgiving than player characters, for example. Human likes miniature, I think. Yeah, well, the fins are gonna be mostly purple at the base, actually, and getting browner and a bit more orangey on the top. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna do color variations as well. You can paint it, you know, straight up with green tones, but I want to have some variation. Variation is nice, you know. Okay, so this looks a bit better, right? And I still haven't started working with the orange and the brown, because the belly is gonna get browner by there, a bit like leather. So as if, you know, he's got a bloated belly, so the belly is gonna become like bright brown, even yellowish in the middle. Still, I'm doing quite a sloppy job though. I have to spend some time, you know, on my own without all the setup that kind of hinders the view, to get a proper blending. But it's okay. You gotta start by the you know, the big work first, and then you go in for the details and the tweaking and such. I remember, the last live I did that guy. I wasn't finished, of course. It ended up pretty cool. I'm unsure as if it'll look great on camera with the light setup I have, but the guy ended up looking pretty cool. I mean, as far as it's tabletop ready, it's, pretty good for tabletop ready stuff. Won't win any contest, but it looks pretty good though. Pretty happy with how the axe turned out and the gems on the bracer, on the armband. Tried to do some tan flash there, and the gems came out pretty good with some effects. I used a glossy varnish to get them nice and shiny, and also did, I don't know if you guys can see it, an effect giving the impression it's a gem. This kind of effect, takes time, but it really pops out at the end and really adds to the whole miniature. So yeah, pretty confident this guy's gonna turn out good as well. Devil's in the details, right? For now, let's do a rough job. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah, half ogre barbarian. Supposed to be, yeah, half ogre, yeah. Flesh tone on the belly. You're talking about the barbarian right now. Flesh tone on the belly. Would have looked better with a pale yellow, like frog's belly. Talking about the barbarian or about the ogre marshal? Yeah, I'm definitely going to go for something yellowish, reddish yellowish for the belly of this guy. The other one, I really wanted him to look like tanned flesh, as if he spent, a lot of time outside in the sun. Obviously, this guy's not used to wearing clothes at all, so figured he's gonna have a harsh skin, leather-like, always in the sun. So there you go. Did a good job, decent job with the highlights on the skin, on the muscles. They pop out, they do pop out, so it works. The blend isn't seamless everywhere, so I already did better skin tones before, but I'm not painting that often. So I did some very good miniatures that were a lot smaller than this guy, with smoother blends of tones, of skin tones. But this guy ended up pretty cool nonetheless. It's consistent, it works. He's quite impressive on his rock formation here. I added to the base. You know, with some minor details like, you know, some minor leaves and stuff like that, shrubs, and this kind of tree there, broken old tree. Looks all right. I didn't went over the top with details. I still, you know, I took time to make the eyes and the details of the eyes, but I didn't really make, you know, any, like the veins. I didn't make them pop out. I could have, you know, really go overboard with details, but I spent enough time on this guy. I didn't want to. I just wanted to have fun. So when I was pretty much bored, you know, with the skin, I wanted to do the rest. I just stopped the skin, you know. At some point, I didn't have, you know, my brushes are pretty damaged, so at some point I was doing, you know, more damage than adding value to the miniature, so I basically stopped painting the guy. Yeah, the Troll King, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for at least. So I'm going with the green at first, but here it's definitely gonna be yellow, reddish yellow. As if yeah, he's really bloated, so as if it was tense and the skin was thinner there. And I'm definitely gonna go with some, you know, so orange too on these plates, Stegosaurus type plates. Maybe with a blue or dark purple at the base, just to make the recesses darker and the highlights pop out better on top. So yeah, I'm really going for something green, both green and ochre on the tones. I saw some miniatures out there on the internet, and I saw this color scheme that I'm going for. I thought it looked better than some other color scheme I saw. So I'm not. I don't. I definitely don't want to go for the full green guy. I'm probably not gonna stay live for long because this is nice, but I'm having a hard time focusing on the details and seeing properly with the camera and all. So I'm probably gonna continue a little bit in case you guys have some questions or some stuff you want to talk about. But then I'm probably gonna hang out. I mean, cut the stream and continue painting him a little bit with, you know, being able to look at it properly and fix some of the mess I've done. I think. But I could already put on some brown and some yellow in front just to show you guys what I mean. You know. So basically the brown is gonna start here. So I'm gonna go with brown, so I'm gonna go with this. I'm using mostly Army paint, but mostly Vallejo model colors. I really like these paints. So I'm gonna use some Carne Medio for the base tone, and then I'll go reddish afterwards. I'll also do a wash. I'm gonna go with this, I think. See? I'm gonna use quite a lot of medium just to get something a bit, to blend a bit more. Sal. Problem is when you use too much medium, it works really as a wash, so you don't have to use too much of it, otherwise it won't work. Probably better off using only water. And make everything pop. I forgot to remove a mold line there. Looks pretty bad. I underestimated, as usual, how much the mud line will end up standing out. Hey, I was about to say you live and you learn, but it ain't the first time I forget them online, thinking it won't show at the end, and actually does. It's alright. I'll work around it. It'll just mean I'll have to spend more time painting, but I'll work around it. Okay, it ain't perfect. To see it already starts to work. Bloated monster. It's pretty cool painting huge monster miniatures, don't you guys think? First, they are more forgiving. Then monsters are so much fun. Sorry about that. I got a call. Ouais. Non, pas du tout. Oui, bien sûr, ça va. Je suis en train de faire un live en fait. Non, non, bah, ouais, je vais. Ok, je vais regarder. C'est pas perdu fond là? Il y avait un. Ah bah si, elle est là. C'est normal qu'il la trouve pas, elle est là en fait. Ok. Il y a aussi ces pinces, enfin les sergents. Bah moi aussi. Ah, il n'y a pas de souci. Est-ce que tu veux que je gonfle ton ballon maintenant ou est-ce que je t'attends? D'accord. Ouais, bah, globalement, ouais. D'accord. Ah, je peux le faire déjà si tu veux. Tu rentres pas trop longtemps, là? D'accord. Bon, bah, t'as le temps, de toute façon, t'as pas le jour demain. Ok, ça marche. Bah, je te fais des bisous. Putain. So this is one of those models that I wasn't happy with my paint job, so I'm curious to see how you solve the problem I had. Yeah, what was your problem? The fact that you went all green and didn't like vary, or the Stegosaur Fins purple? I'm going for that too. Yeah, as I told you, I'm going for the really for a green and ochre tone with some light red or orange, dark orange at the bottom of the belly, and I'm gonna go with yellow, quite bright highlights on the top and reddish up to purple black on the base. At least that's I think what I'm going for. Um, but and I'm definitely gonna go a lot darker here in the recesses with some dark green, maybe with a hue of how do you call that? Of purple as well. So there's definitely going to be some washes here, brown washes on the nipples, on the the breast, yeah, and yeah, and then probably some orange and some dark velvet, blacky velvet shades for all that is more like bony protrusions and stuff like that. But I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I'm gonna do all the green parts and all the orange parts on the belly and on the main, skin, and then I'll figure out or see if it works doing the scales. But I'm actually, I'm not going very original here because I saw a design online that was looking much like this. So I'm basically following what I remember of the design. I should maybe find the image I used. For starters, it's pretty easy, straightforward for now. Face on the side of the club was a problem. Because of the club or because of the face. Yeah, the club is in the way, but it should be alright. It's a big miniature, so I'm pretty confident. I know I won't like entirely fuck it up. It's gonna look alright by the end, but you know, it's got to be tabletop ready. I mean, I'm sure that your um, Troll King is. I'm sure it's tabletop ready and great for tabletop. I don't know what you went for, if you were going for something really pretty and spent hours doing it, or if you just went for something tabletop. But I'm not sure you can entirely fail this kind of miniature. I mean, even if I just put, a green base coat everywhere and a dark shade of green, much like I did before, maybe with a darker wash afterwards, just to pick up deepest recesses. I mean, I'm sure it could look already good on the tabletop during game sessions, But of course, if you're going for something a bit more pretty, like any other miniature, you'll have to spend some time. But usually, I found out that going with several color scheme is usually a good idea because it gives variation on the piece instead of only going for one color type. Mixing in colors can get you a long way to create contrasts. Here, for example, the bloated belly is already standing out pretty well, and I still haven't done the highlights or have the colors I'm gonna put on this guy. So, but these kind of models are really interesting because of all the recesses and the bloating and the tiny details and the big surface you have to cover. So you can definitely do some gradients, very nice gradients, if you spend time doing it, doing glazing or wet blending and stuff like that. I know I'm gonna do a lot of wet blending. I'm doing a very general work here, but I'm gonna work quite some time on this guy to get a nice blend, because I'm sure I can achieve a nice effect on the belly here, and definitely gonna try at least to get something nice. Of course, I'll end up posting a picture on the Tabletop Crafters Guild and on my Facebook page, so if you're curious, in a few days probably I'll have this guy finished, and I'll share it online on Facebook, so you'll be able to have a look on the final piece. I'm really gonna work with, you know, wet blending and then washes and highlights and everything like that. I think I'm gonna spend a little time on this guy, at least to get something, you know, decent, a little over tabletop ready, just like the other guy. Because the other guy, I consider the other guy above, a little above tabletop ready. Of course, you know, it all depends on your own perspective. But like for my own standards, this guy is above, a little above tabletop ready. Then again, most of the miniatures I do for tabletop, I try to spend a little time doing it because I'm a perfectionist. Even though I'm not a very talented or, you know, painter or very experienced painter, I always prefer my miniatures to look good because I want to display them at home. So I tend to spend a bit more time. I'm sure if you were to be more efficient than me, you do achieve a better result in less time, but hey, it comes with experience, right? But the most important is to have fun, and I definitely do. Miniature painting is definitely you know, fun and rewarding, and you know, very relaxing. Especially painting monsters like that. Partly because they are forgiving, but also because they're just so much fun. You know, the look of the creature it's fun, you know. It's cartoony, it's grotesque. It's a lot more fun than painting most playable characters. Of course, you can get crazy with a miniature that has, you know, nice weaponry, magic weaponry, or you know, I don't know, an armor, shining armor. I really want to work on the non-metallic effects for weapons. I'm trying to do it. I'm starting to learn how to do it. This sword was made like with a non-metallic technique. It came out alright, you know, the miniature looks pretty good. I've got a fair understanding on the shield bows turned out really cool. I don't know if it really stands out, but the shield bows turned out really good. The sword is alright. It's good. It's a little too, looks a bit like stone though. It's not perfect, but there's one model one miniature I really want to paint. I'm really eager to paint. I'm both a bit scared and eager to paint. Is this girl? It's I don't remember her name. Tyriel. And this is one of the finest model I've seen that is affordable. It's that Dark Legend, I think. It looks really cool. I mean, the stance is so dynamic, so great. And I definitely want to paint her with non-metallic paints to get a nice armor effect. But this girl is tiny, so it's gonna be quite some work to achieve. But she's worth it. I mean, she's really cool. I didn't find many mostly accurate looking armor, paladin warrior-like looking figures that are also female, looking a bit historical. The armor isn't totally historical. I even like modified the chestplate because it was a booby chestplate, so I put some green stuff for it to be a bit more flat. I mean, a bit more round. because you've actually got space for breasts in breastplates, so no need to put on some booby breastplates. Of course, it's a bit fantasy in the breastplate, like the articulations aren't like historical, but the overall armor for the rest is pretty much historical. I modified the sword also because it was super bulky, so I trimmed it for it to be a bit more, spiky, but thinner, and yeah, this model looks really cool, really cool. Nice small, very dynamic for a playable character. So this girl, I want to paint her with non-metallic paint effects. Once I'm probably gonna experiment a little more with a few other miniatures first. Then I'll definitely work on this one with non-metallic paints to try to achieve something really cool, with light reflections and stuff like that. So yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the stream for now because I'm at the point where I really have to. I want to get this this belly looking good, and it's gonna look good. I'm pretty confident, but for now I'm not being very precise because I got the camera just in front of my eyes. It ain't it ain't the most accurate and practical setup ever. But so I'm probably gonna cut it and paint alone by myself just for pleasure, and try to fix a few things. Try to see if I can get a nice effect with the gradient on the belly. And there you go. It was just a little video. I don't know for how long I did live, maybe an hour or something like that. Yeah, a little over an hour. So it was just to start the miniature with you guys, hang out, talk a little bit, and show you what I'm up to. For those who are interested, I am working on a tutorial that is kind of slow in process. It's not a very long tutorial per se, but I'm working on trees. So I've already done some bases for trees, and I have I'm just gonna take this away. There you go. I'm just gonna yeah. So I'm working on trees with stuff I picked up. Some roots I picked up. So I want to show you guys how to make trees really easily, because there's a lot of tutorials out there working with either wire or TP or stuff like that. But I found that one of the easier way to do it and achieve very easily a natural look is to just pick up some roots that are sticking out of the earth, unearthed roots, and some of them are really entangled and really gnarled, so you can get pretty nice looking trees. So so I'm working on that, but I'm having a minor setback right now. Really stupid. I'm just lacking a few materials to carry on. So if I have time later this week, which I'm not sure I will have because I have quite some work lately at work, but I'll definitely I'm working on it, and it probably will be uploaded in maybe a few weeks or tops a month, I think, and I'll have this guy finished by then, definitely, because I'm gonna try to spend a little time painting miniature to get a bit meditative and a bit of relaxation sometime. So yeah, totally brings in calm inner peace. You got it. So you guys have a nice Saturday evening or Saturday day, depending on where you live. I'll see you guys later for maybe another live, but probably another video, because I think I'm gonna paint this guy on my own. But you'll see the picture on the Tabletop Crafters Guilds and on my Facebook page if you guys are interested. So you guys take care, keep on crafting, keep on painting miniatures, and bye bye.